Hello everyone, welcome to Walker Bee Ranch. I thought I would take the opportunity and tell everybody happy 4th of July. It is the 3rd of July 2020, and I wanted to give you an update on what has been going on my first year in beekeeping. It hasn't been as successful as I had hoped. Bunch of issues and problems, and I'll show you kind of what I've got going on. Since I started my apiary, I had everything back here in the back. It looks like a war zone right now. You can see I've taken down 2/3 of this part of the apiary. I do have a box there that's just got some foragers because I moved everything that's coming back. Walk over to this side. I still have my pollen feeder back here and a swarm trap. Took down this side. Still got some stuff I got to move, but it's been really hot here in South Carolina, and I've had mega problems. Had my hives up to 9 with splits, and hopefully I don't have anything on my face. I just got done eating, and I had to move all of my hives back to where I originally wanted them to be in the very beginning, and for the reasons that I wanted to put them there to begin with. So what I've got is we've had extreme amounts of hive beetles, and I'll show you. I moved everything. I'll just flip it around over to the side of the house, which if you can see up there, there's no tree cover. It's in the direct sunlight. See, I've got a 10 frame, just to show you. Hopefully I don't get zapped coming up here. Sorry. But I lost 4 hives out of my 9. I'm sorry, 5 hives out of my 9, and I had to I took all the feed out of the hives. I took everything, and you can see right there I got an open feeder. The bees are really going kind of crazy right now on that, and got that over here and that over here, feeding them. That's 2.5 gallons right there of one-on-one, and they're punishing it pretty good right now. So they're doing a good job. Lots of open food, but so yeah, I had to drop back and punt. I lost 5 of 9 hives, and what I did is I actually found a guy on Facebook that had to split 3 of his hives, trying to keep them from swarming, and they had been in the box for a month, and so I went and bought those. I got a good deal on 3 additional nukes, so right now I'm sitting at 8 hives. But to give you an idea, this was the first 2 days of Swiffers that I pulled out of that very first hive right here. This very first one. You notice I got a guardian on it. I do have beetle blasters, beetle barns, and Swiffer sheet in the top of that, and the gnats are killing me right now. And a bee likes it, but I'm gonna drop these on the ground to show you. This was the first Swiffer that I put in the first day, and you see I did catch a bee and some beetles. This was the same hive the next day, the second one. Lots of beetles, and that's just the one hive. The 4 or the 5 hives that I lost were slimed out, maggot infested, and so I had to do drastic measures. I moved them all out here into the direct sun. Hopefully that would keep the beetles at bay, at least new beetles. I put the guardians on the front of the hives to keep new beetles from entering, and then all of the stuff on the inside that I put in there, well, I already had beetle blasters in there, but I put, gosh, the gnats, put the beetle barns and Swiffer and now the guardians on the front. And I will tell you that that hive that had those Swiffer sheets in it has since, I'm sure it's still got some beetles in it, but the Swiffer sheet didn't have new beetles in it. It didn't have any. So hopefully I've got it to where at least the hive, gosh, these gnats, the hive can contain itself and you know, manage itself and not get overwhelmed. Of the 5 or 4 hives that I had remaining, one of them only has queen cells in it. One has nothing, it's just bees, and the other 2 hives did have productive queens in it. So hopefully all the precautions that I took after the fact are working. Now it is hot down here in the 90s, and you can see this is one of the nukes. It was pretty strong. I'm gonna come around this other side. It's pretty strong. They're bearding a little bit, corralling beetles, but they're doing pretty good. I didn't give them extra comb. I gave them blanks so they could draw it out as they need it. It's kind of shift change right now. You can see where they're starting underneath that hive over there, which you probably can't see from right here, but I'll walk around there. They're bearding because of the heat. They're actually underneath a little bit, but they'll come back in, and it's getting ready to be what I consider shift change. Some of the comb and stuff with some honey remnants and stuff, I did just put out in an empty box and let them scavenge out what they could. I let them rob honey out. I did put out some pollen sub and stuff over here. They're not really doing anything with that pollen sub, but they are definitely taking the honey. Inside that bucket is the slime that I scraped. There's a bucket down under here where I scraped this slime and put a glass on top to hopefully melt some of that down and at least kill all the hive beetles. But I'm letting them get what they need, hopefully, from that. And I've put out, we're kind of in a dearth right now, not a lot blooming, but they're really taking the 1-to-1 syrup. This is the first time I put out the bucket like that, and it looks like they are really going to town on it. They're drinking it. I just put this out probably an hour ago, but I'll let them have the food. They need it because nothing in the hive, no feed in the hive other than what they store, and they can't store it if they can't protect it. You know, so some different things. I'll probably do away with these jars, even though they punished all those jars today and really drank them. And the open feeder, they like that, but maybe because they hadn't found the bucket yet, and now we'll see how the bucket goes. Bucket just allows me not to have to fill up a bunch of jars. I can pop out, you know, put 10 pounds of sugar in about half of one of those buckets. Whoops. Oh, still filming. Gosh. Still going. All right, sorry. But put about 10 gallons in I mean, sorry, 10 pounds of sugar and about, I don't know, it's probably 1.5 gallons of water, and then mixed it up. A little bit of Honey Bee Healthy in there, like a cap full, and that was it. And that one, and they're really taking it. But yeah, it was kind of disastrous to lose 5 of 9 hives, and I might still lose a couple of the other ones. That's why I bought those other nukes that just happened to be there. Very nice guy, and I got a good deal on him, $130 for a nuke, and he even gave me the boxes to carry home. I didn't have to take anything to him. Had to drive an hour and a half to get them, but other than that, it was all right. You know, the woes of the first year, right, I guess. I've got some more guardians to put on. Went to Barnyard Bees Facebook group and talked in there, and about 40 different people made comments on my hive beetle issue. And you know, I did OAV my hives when I first got them. When I first got the swarms, I did OAV them, and then didn't do it again after that. And people were saying, well, it could be that you have a high mite load in those hives, and that's why they're weak, and that's allowing the hive beetles to take over, which I can understand why that is. But I went ahead and OAV'd them yesterday with the ProVap 110, and I'll probably do it again maybe tomorrow morning, or yeah, probably tomorrow morning. Hit them again and just try to break any cycles, because the nukes that I got from the other guy were pretty packed, and moved 2 of them to 10 frames, and hopefully I can you know, resurrect the other hives, at least give them a fighting chance, because if I wouldn't have done all this moving of the hives over, they stood no chance. They would have died, and you know, my first year would have been a loss. I guess if I had any first year advice for anybody, I did things a little bit, I don't know if it's backwards is a good word for it, but I bought a lot of equipment in the off season that I had intended on using, not really knowing what I was gonna need. The nuke boxes and stuff, I felt like I probably could have gotten more splits. You watch people like Barnyard Bees, and they put a frame of bees and a frame of food and let them go, and they make queens and everything. That has not been the case here. Even my mentor is having a hard time with queens coming back, and I don't know if that's dragonflies or lack of drones or what, but it's been kind of a rough year, if by his standards. I mean, this is my first year, so I really don't have a standard to go by. I should have known, because usually when I get into something, it doesn't go correctly for me. But you know, it's been a learning experience so far, and you know, I've got to meet a lot of people and do a lot of videos on stuff. I haven't been as regular as I probably could have been, but these the hives that I have now, hopefully the one with the 2 queen cells in it, hopefully they come back, because that's been a thing with the queens just not making it back after they go out on their mating flight. And I actually wasted $140 last week. I guess this is Friday, so it would have been last week, but I bought five queens, and they were mated, and the hives appeared to have taken them, and you know, I went back and there's no queens, and I think that problem was, and this is my hypothesis on this, no scientific evidence, but the hive beetles came in, the hive beetles laid larvae, and the little maggots, you know, dig through the cells, they get behind the brood, The hive then pulls the brood out, and when they pull the brood out, I think they assume at that point that there's something wrong with the queen, that the brood is defective, and then they assassinate her or run her off, because none of those hives could I find a queen on the ground or anything, and they appeared to be taking it. So definitely got to keep those hive beetles in check. I think being out here in the sun, that's helped. I've had, like I said, diminishing amounts on the Swiffer sheets. Matter of fact, the 5-frame hives, I haven't even found any on the Swiffer sheets, but the 10-frame hive I did. And I just put Swiffer sheets in the other 2 new ones, 2 new 10 frames that I put out yesterday. So I'll keep you advised on it. And you know, everybody's saying, oh, even Cayman Reynolds, and I respect Cayman a lot because he's young and been able to do a lot with his bees. And he's like, oh, well, we really haven't had any hive beetle issues this year. And everybody I see online, oh, we really haven't had any hive beetle issues. And you know, you look online and they're like, oh, well, July and August, that's usually hive beetle time. And I'm like, mine hit in June. It must have been early June, because by the end of June, my hives, I was losing hives. So hopefully I did enough and not too late to where, you know, being able to kill them off isn't slime. And I went through the hives, and if I find any slime or anything, I take it out and leave the bees with just what they have, and then they have to, you know, regroup. So they are getting weaker, some of the hives, but, and I just want to show you something, because shift change is officially started now. I call it shift change, but I just showed you that 10-frame hive on the end down here, and you can see, I'll set you right here for a minute, but the activity around these hives of returning foragers has definitely increased at that hive. So they're landing and going in. That hive is like that. And over the next little bit, this hive has started doing that. There'll be a bunch when this bigger hive over here starts. That was a pretty big nuke. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't have any queen cells. It was 5 frames and they were just jammed in there. But all these, yesterday they were all doing this about the same time. So it's just now starting. But got a lot of food over here. So I didn't want to make this really long video because I don't think people pay attention and watch, but they're digging, the bees are digging the bucket, guys. So they're taking it down, and they can only get it from the seam, so a lot of them are just hanging there and getting drips and drops and whatever, I guess. But they're liking that, the open feeding. Guess it makes the bees feel like they're actually foraging. But that's what we got, guys. That's what we got here at Walker Bee Ranch. I wish I could say that it was, this was the greatest year ever and I pulled all this honey. I probably could have pulled a little bit of honey, but everybody, you know, says on Facebook, oh, you're not gonna get any honey your first year, just leave it in the hive. Well, yeah. Didn't exactly work out for me the way everybody else's did, I guess. Not to say that they're right or wrong, or I'm right or wrong. Just isn't, you know, everybody's situation is different because everybody's in a different location. But being back here on this wood line, I think looking back, you know, a lot of people say they can do it and don't have any problems. Was not the case for me. So to give you an idea, let me set this out over here. They'll come and get it easier now. I'm gonna show you how gross this is. All right, so obviously everybody sees I just took 2 frames out, 2 frames that I had in a bucket. I'm gonna set them over here so the bees, set them over here so the bees can still get access to them. Now, let me show you what's in my bucket. You can probably see them all burrowing and moving around down there. There's dead bees in there. Cappings. You can see the bucket is literally moving, undulating. I'm gonna try not to get, but that's all larvae that's been growing and feeding. They can't climb the sides of the bucket, but those beetles can. You see the beetles? But they can't burrow down through the ground. So I'm probably gonna, that's pretty gross. The other one was just as bad. I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna take it and set it out in the sun. Hopefully the sun cooks them, because the other hive, or the other part that I have out here, which actually has more cappings in it than that, and yeah, that's what they do. Look how fat they are. I wish I could just feed them to the bees. Feed them, not to the bees, to the birds. But right now I just want them to die. So I'm gonna set them out in the sun. Sorry. But look at that. Hive beetles. That's what it is, guys. Hive beetles. Can you see them all? Moving. Look at that. How disgusting. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna put these in the sun so they die. And I'll try to keep you updated on the status of these hives as time goes on. And we'll see if we can get this under control and save my apiary. So anyway, thanks for watching Walker Bee Ranch. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.